Hey resellers, thanks so much for tuning into today's video. We are going to address the age-old question, if it's sold within hours, did I price it too low? Because guys, a lot of the things that I'm going to be showing you guys in today's What Sold video sold within hours, within 24 hours or less, some of them within 10 hours, some of them even less than that. Do I know what I'm doing even? Like, am I pricing all this stuff way too low? Hey guys, we're gonna get straight into the video and try to keep this short but still go through a lot of items with you guys because I understand we're kind of split 50-50 and I'd like to know your response to this question down below. When you watch What Sold videos, are you looking for the big items like the bolos, so to speak, $50 or more? Or would you rather me talk about bread and butter items and stuff that you can find commonly at any thrift store that maybe sells for around $20? When you click on a What Sold, what is it that you're hoping to get out of it? Comment below and let me know because I definitely want these videos to be beneficial to you guys more than anything else. So if you are following along on the series that I have right now on my channel, I am currently trading in my death pile for a car, for a new car. In order to do that, I'm listing 50 items a day. You guys, it's been 9 days, 10 days, I'm losing track of the days. It's been a little while and I am still going strong, listing 50 items a day, and the sales have been fantastic because of it. So I'm going back to the beginning of that challenge and gonna talk about the sales that I feel like are of note to you guys. But the biggest thing that is alarming to me, or I feel like we should take note of, are how many of these items sold within a day, within 2 days of listing them. When I started this challenge, I was sitting right at 1,000 items, I believe, in my store, 900 and something maybe. Maybe I hadn't hit 1,000 yet. So there's, you know, almost 1,000 items that could be selling right now, but the majority of the stuff that I'm selling right now is the stuff that I'm listing out of my death pile. I'm still making sales from the stale or older inventory, but a lot of the sales that I'm gonna talk about are things straight out of the death pile that just got listed. Some of them are cheap $10, $15, $20 sales, and some of them are $140, $150 sales. It begs the question, did I price it too low? So I'm going to show you guys the items. Maybe you can help me decide because we all kind of wonder that when something sells so quickly. Now, I started this challenge on or about July 22nd, and the 3 items that sold on the 22nd were not from the newly listed inventory. I sold a men's J. Crew shirt that I have had for, I feel like, years. The shirt sold for $8 plus shipping, and there was honestly nothing special about it. I'm going to show you the shirt because I want you to know not to pick it up. It is not something I would pick up if I had it to do over again. This is just a simple men's J. Crew shirt, and as I said, it sold for $8 plus $5.50 shipping, so really nothing to write home about. The next item that sold was another bottle of that vintage hair color. This was the last bottle that I had. You guys, this stuff expired before I was born, some of it. Some bottles expired in 1982 and some expired in 1985. Shout out to anyone born in 1985, that's me. But this hair color sold for $39 plus $5 shipping. Talk about brand loyalty. It is a Clairol, let me not lie to you, Clairol Born Blonde. Now they have Born Blonde now. I have used that product to bleach out my hair, but apparently what they had here is not the same as the stuff they have nowadays, and people know it. $40. I've sold 3 bottles of this at $39 plus shipping. My camera died, but I think we're back in business now. So the next item I want to tell you guys about is another vintage single stitch shirt. If those weren't popular last year, they have exploded this year, let me tell you. And they were popular last year, but it seems like every reseller now knows about vintage single stitch, which is incredible. In a word, incredible, because we are saving so many vintage t-shirts from winding up in the garbage and getting those t-shirts in the hands of collectors. So this one sold for $33 plus shipping, plus $4.80 shipping, and this had a really cool graphic on it, and this was the back of the shirt, so the back and the front of the shirt had details on it, and it was single stitch. Again, $33 plus $4.80 shipping. The next item I want to tell you guys about is a vintage Nike jersey, sold for $17 plus $7.50 shipping. This item sat forever in my store. There's a similar one listed right now for like $21.50. I would not pick this up. This was actually my husband's from back in the day. That's why it's vintage, right? Haha. Anyway, this item just sat forever. I sent out offers on Poshmark, offers on eBay, and it just sat and sat and sat. I sold the beautiful orange New York & Company cape-like coat for $25 plus $10 shipping. I had received a couple offers on this. No one wanted to meet me at $30 on this. I feel like I could have waited potentially into the fall or the winter and got more out of this, but in the end, I was fine to take $25 for it. I received this for, I'm sure, a couple dollars. You guys know I try not to source over $5 an item. I sold another Cabbage Patch, and the buyer on this one made me an offer, and she explained in her offer that she was making the offer contingent upon the doll's hair condition as well as her skin condition. So she had a skin condition. With Cabbage Patches, it's called pox. And she only sold for $8, you guys, with original Cabbage Patch clothing. So just know that not every Cabbage Patch you pick up is going to be a $50, $75 Cabbage Patch. Now the buyer did pay $10 shipping, so actually paid more in shipping than she did for the item. All in, the buyer was at $18. I have been selling some comic books. This one was a vintage Batman number 208, 80-page comic book, sold for $17 plus $4.80 shipping. You know what a comic book looks like, but I'm going to show you just in case. This was from the 70s. All of the comic books that I'll tell you about today are from the 70s. So for the buyer to be in at over $20 for one comic book is phenomenal. Here's another one. This sold via the global shipping program for $19.99 plus $4.85 shipping, plus whatever that person had to pay to have it shipped to their country. Another vintage comic book from the 70s, Hanna-Barbera's Fun In. So we had that Dastardly Muttley, isn't that Dastardly? And Muttley in their flying machines. That one sold for $20 plus shipping, you guys. I am pennies into these comic books and have made a ton off of them. I didn't know anything about comic books going in, but okay, we are getting now the date on these sales is the 24th, so 2 days beyond me starting the death pile challenge, and I'm starting to get sales from the death pile. This first item was a neckerchief, just a vintage women's scarf, sold for $11. I believe I took an offer on that. $11 with free shipping. This is a beautiful paisley bright orange scarf. Again, if it's a triangular shape like this, use the keyword neckerchief. So sold for $11 with free shipping. It's gonna cost you know, $3 or $4 on something like that to ship it. So that was a death pile item. Sold a kid's book for $5.30, not much to write home about. But the next death pile item that sold, guys, this sold within probably 10 hours or less for full price. Now, I listed 3 boom boxes that all had little problems, little faults in them. And I listed them quite a bit lower than the normal price as if they were working. This one is a Lloyd's brand. Now, Lloyd's is spelled with 2 L's, L-L-O-Y-D-S. If you find Lloyd's brand electronics, pick them up. The buyer was all in $47 plus $14.22 shipping on this item. So here is the Lloyd's boombox. Sold again, non-working 4 parts as is within 10 hours of listing it for almost $50 plus shipping, you guys. And what I like about shipping non-working electronics is you don't have to worry that USPS or FedEx or UPS is going to break the item, drop it. It already doesn't work. Here's another item that sold within, I'm gonna say, a day of listing this. Now, I listed these women's Converse, size 10 knee-high Converse for $125 plus $8 shipping. I got 2 immediate offers. Well, one immediately for $75, I think. I countered the buyer at $100, hoping that since it's listed in the sneaker category, I can get away with not having the eBay fees on that. And then another offer came in, same offer, $75. I thought it was the same buyer responding one more time, and I said $100. And it was a second offer. Well, before either of those 2 girls could respond, someone swooped in and bought these for $125 plus $8 shipping. Now, one of my friends on Instagram saw this. There were several people as soon as I posted about this. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you really need to, because I let you guys know about the sales as they're happening. I would say 3 or 4 people let me know that they had this exact item either in their home or in their death pile or had access to it. So they all put those listings up. One of them sold immediately, again, for $125. If that's not a bolo, I don't know what is. And I think she said hers sold full asking price within 24 hours as well. So did we price those too low? I don't think so. It's right in line with the comps, and like I say, there were 2 other offers that came in. I was super thrilled to get those sold for $125. And I will say, this is the first time that I ever had to send anything into eBay's authenticators. Now, since I had that item listed over $100 in the sneaker category, for mine was new with damage because there was some staining on the shoelaces. That item did not ship directly to my buyer. That item shipped to eBay's authenticators. And you might be wondering, how does that process work? I ship over to the authenticator and they authenticate the item and then ship it directly to the buyer. So cross your fingers and make sure that the authenticator does their job and that you did your job in authenticating that item. It all went well. They were deemed authentic and they got shipped over to my buyer. So win-win, everyone wins when an item sells for $125. Here's another item that sold that was not part of the death pile, but sold for $23, and I picked it up for $2. This is a Spanish, like a learn to speak Spanish CD kit, so it was able to go media mail. It was very heavy, but it sold for $23 with free shipping, and knowing that that was media mail, that really cut down on the shipping. I want to say I paid $5 and change maybe to ship this. Now, the one interesting thing about this is that it was missing one of the CDs. Not so good, but still sold for $23. The brand on that is Barron's Master Spanish Level 1 2nd edition textbook and 11 audio CDs. It's a program from 2003. The next 2 items were both items that sold from the death pile. The first one for $10.40, free shipping, and it was Guitar Hero World Tour. This is for PlayStation 2. This is a complete game. Now, when you're listing games, the word complete would mean that it has the instruction manual, the CD, and the case. This again sold for $10.40 and sold within 24 hours. There were several listed at that same price point, so I don't think that I priced too cheap there. The next item that I have did have a little bit of damage, some staining. This is a little radio that when you wind it up, it's Fisher Price, it plays over the rainbow. It sold for $12.50 plus $7.50 shipping, and it is out the door. I bought this several years ago. My son was so young that he thought it was amazing at the time. He has since outgrown it. I did not buy it for him. I bought it to sell. I love vintage Fisher Price toys. I have a soft spot for those, and this one sold, like I say, $12.50 plus $7.50 shipping, so the buyer is all in at $20 for that. The next item that sold was also listed out of the death pile. Now, this one did take a little bit longer to sell. It looks like the sale date on this was just within the last 4 days, so within 3 or 4 days it sold though. I did price this a little under the comps because it's an electronic toy and the battery door was held on with Scotch tape. So some may look at that as a flaw to not even list it, but I was able to get $25.90 plus $9 shipping out of this VTech Typewrite toy. How many of you guys had this toy as a kid? Now, when I started listing this, I noticed that really, to be truthful, all the keys probably could benefit from being taken off in a deep cleaning. And like I say, the battery door, let me show you guys. The battery door was held on with tape. But guys, the buyer was happy to pay that amount, left positive feedback that this is a gift for her son because he learned to type on this exact same toy as a kid. So that's thrilling. $34 the buyer's all in, and I was able to rekindle a memory. The next item, surprise, sold out of the death pile. Now guys, this challenge has only been going on 9-10 days right now. And so all of these items have sold within 9-10 days. If an item sells within a week of listing it, I always wonder, did I price it too low? But I am learning so much in this challenge. One of those things being, wow, if you price items right and you list consistently, like every single day, you can sell items very, very quickly. I think that maybe that's been a problem with listing my items in the past, is that I didn't actually, I wasn't consistent enough with listing. So I have a lot of old stale inventory. I might have to unlist it and sell similar. This item sold for $12.70. It is a little Amish couple here. These are cast iron Amish people sitting on a bench. This actually, if my mom and dad are watching this, we used to have this in our kitchen when I was a kid. And so somehow I came to inherit this. My mother did not want these little Amish figures anymore. When I moved out, I think I took them and a few others with me. And yeah, this sold for $12.70, free shipping. They're cast iron, but they're teeny, teeny, tiny. The next item also sold out of the death pile. Guys, so many sales from these brand new listings that I am popping up on eBay. So $19.90 on this thing that you may be passing up at the thrift stores. Like, this may be something that you're walking by all the time and just not thinking about it. Look at this radio. Have you seen these in the thrift stores? Have you seen these at yard sales? Did you know that these sell for around $20, $25? Like I say, $19.90 for this one. Free shipping out the door within probably 72 hours of listing it. Here's another item that sold very, very quickly. This is, I originally bought this for my home several years ago. Didn't know what it was, just thought it looked quirky and industrial and vintage, which is how I like to decorate. But this is actually a sound meter. So this sound meter will detect the decibels and how loud things are. Like, if I plug this up around my youngest son, it would probably explode because he is the loudest kid you'll ever meet in your life. Now, when I looked this up, there were several new ones, but there was only one vintage one like this listed. The new ones were selling around $25, $30, and the one vintage one they had listed at $100. I think I listed this one around $50 because I saw no reason to believe that this would actually bring $100. I accepted a best offer within, again, days of listing it for $37.50 plus $10 shipping. So $47.50, very, very close to $50 on that item. I was happy to sell it. Guess what else I sold? You guys aren't gonna believe I sold a pair of Rothys. That's right. Remember the 2 pair of Rothys that I picked up recently at a thrift store? Well, those turned out to be one of my very best friend's size. And so I call her Wonder Woman all the time, and I said, which pair do you want, Wonder Woman? And she wanted the red pair, which is so fitting because that's what I call her. And so the orange pair I put up for sale. These are a size 11.5 pair of Rothys. These sold, you guys, for $127 plus $8 shipping. 127 bucks. These are in almost like new condition. I wish they had been around a size 10. I would have absolutely kept these for myself. I will find a pair. I just know I will. This next item sold right out of the death pile. If I didn't mention it, those Rothys were death pile also. They were newly listed. I listed a ton of vintage sewing equipment, and you're going to see a lot of them have sold. This one sold for $19.90 plus $5 shipping. This is a zigzag attachment. White is a sewing brand that you should become familiar with if you're into selling vintage sewing equipment. $19.90, guys, plus $5 shipping. I didn't even pay for this. This was, gosh, I don't know if this was in an old auction lot, exactly how I came to own these. These sewing attachments have lived in my home for years, guys. So I'm doing well on them though. I will just show you that. There's another kids book sold for $3.57. I am so over listing kids books for $5 and less. I might consider doing like bulk kids book lots or something, but I just don't know how you could ever make money like that. $3.57 plus free shipping, guys. I paid $2.85 medium mail shipping. Like, I probably paid them to take that book. Let's talk about something more positive. This next item was a Vera Bradley bag that I bought several years ago at a silent auction. I sold this for $18.05 plus free shipping because Vera Bradley's just not that spectacular unless you have exactly the right print or pattern. And I feel like the solids do way better than these prints do. So this one, again, $18, and did I say 5 cents or 50 cents? For this, it's kind of a vinyl, like a weather treated canvas bag. The buyer got this one and was thrilled. Left positive feedback that it was even better than she expected, but that was out of the death pile as well. I sold another pair of those Walmart sunglasses from my retail arbitrage. I had bought all these Walmart sunglasses clearanced out for $1. Sold another pair for $9.90. You know what sunglasses look like, so I'll spare you the details on that. Sold a vintage beanie. You may come across this item, so I do want to show it to you guys. This sold for $18 plus $4.80 shipping. Now this is Minnesota Vikings, and it is, in case it's not showing really well, purple and yellow. Has the Vikings logo there, and I have a few other teams listed right now as well. Louisville Cardinals and one that looks like St. Louis Rams colors but doesn't have the patch. Let's see. I talked about this over on Instagram. This item was listed out of the death pile and sold for $15.50. Now, I listed these Kate Spade I listed these Kate Spade shoes. Kate Spade, size 10B, nude peep toe heels, very worn, damaged, because they are very worn and they were damaged. And then I realized when they sold to a guy, I probably included a fetish keyword unintentionally, the word worn. And so these sold for $15.50. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then I'll try to help you out in another video. Maybe I'll do a video just about keywords, which ones to use and which ones to avoid. But worn, well worn, they're not words that you want to use when selling women's footwear unless you are trying to sell to fetish buyers. Moving on, the next item that I sold also came out of the death pile. It's just a piece of fabric, you guys. It's a 45 inch by 28 inch piece of fabric. It has got Disney princesses on it, and it sold for $10.90. So you just roll this little piece of fabric up and sell it, and yeah, it ships for a couple bucks, and fabric always does well for me. These came out of the death pile as well, actually out of my son's closet at the beginning of this challenge. Adidas men's size small shorts sold for $9.97. All of these items that I'm showing you guys sold within hours to days of listing them. So you tell me what you think. And does it have more to do with the fact that I'm just consistently listing? This next sale was 2 items that I listed as part of the Death Pile Challenge. They were both PlayStation 2 games. Now one of them was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and the other is NASCAR Thunder 2003. The buyer bought both of those. I don't know that I may have never really had somebody look at 2 different items in my store like that weren't already bulked together as like a quantity listing and buy something. So I was super thrilled to see someone buy 2 things. I could save on shipping because the buyer's all in at $19.80 and free shipping on that. The next item was straight out of the death pile again, guys. I did sell an Ann Taylor top that was from years and years ago, so some old inventory is still selling, but this item was vintage sewing machine attachments. These are Kenmore Sears attachments, and they sold for $9.50 with free shipping. Again, it's going to cost me $2 or $3 to ship this. If I could do 1,000 of those, then there's $5 grand towards my car, right? The next item came from the Death Pile Challenge and also came from an Amazon return store. The first time I've ever been to an Amazon return store, I think I showed you guys maybe in a previous video about this item. It sold for $39 plus $10 shipping. I did not have a single cable or cord for this Ring alarm base. That is all it is just the base. Again, there are no cords, no cables. There is a mark on it there. So while I probably, if I had held out, could have got closer to $40, $50, maybe even $60, $40 plus $10 shipping would be fantastic. It sold again within 24 hours of listing it, as did this next item. Guys, tell me, I don't think my prices are too low on these, but I am thrilled to death at the thought of actually listing stuff and it selling immediately. Like, that's the name of the game, and that's how we're supposed to be doing this. This was a lot of Mad magazines. There are 9 Mad magazines sold for $27 plus $5.69 shipping. And so I contemplated lotting these up, you know, like separating them out, but at this price they ended up being what, around $3 a piece, which is probably about what I would have netted after shipping each one at $10 a piece. So why not just bulk it all together, get rid of that whole stack of magazines all in one go, and give the buyer a good price. So $30 on 9 old magazines, I will do that every day. The next item that sold freaked some of you guys out over on Instagram. You thought this bird was alive, and he does look very much alive, but this For Real Friends bird sold for $61 plus $12 shipping. Check this guy out. If you see this, pick him up. He talks, he squawks, he mimics. He is a For Real Friends parrot, and he is definitely a BOLO item. Now, any For Real Friends, I believe, are BOLO items. This one I listed at $61 plus $12 shipping, received an offer within the first 24 hours of $41, and I accepted the offer. I genuinely accepted it. The buyer canceled. I thought, okay, fine, whatever. I'm sure better things are coming my way, and boy did they ever, because 2 days later he sold for full price, an additional $20, so $61. That sold via promoted listing. The next item was another death pile sale. Can you even believe this? This item was a set of curlers out of my own bedroom, actually. $19 plus free shipping for these Revlon hot rolls. Hot rollers, curlers. You can see that one clip there has been replaced, and I talked about that in the listing. So 19 bucks. Man, again, if I could just replicate that 1,000 times, 1,500 times, that is my car, and that is the point. These cleats, I did not mean to sell. I mean, I did, obviously, but the day they sold, I got notification that my youngest son, who wears a size 12 in cleats, would be eligible to play soccer. So I'm kind of bummed out that these kids cleats in a size 12, brand new, mind you, sold. Now, these were a Ross clearance pickup from like 2 years ago, and they had been sitting in my death pile all that time. $22.99 free shipping. I listed the John Waite shirt that was from the vintage 140 piece clothing haul, and it sold for $30 plus $5 shipping. Again, accepted a best offer. I feel like since I'm in the mood to accept offers right now is maybe part of the reason also these things are flying off the shelves. Everything is just going, because you know, when you accept an offer, eBay really likes that and starts pushing out your listing more and more. Next item, let's talk about these baseball cleats. We're at the end of baseball season, so the fact that I listed these and they sold within 2 days was fantastic. $35 plus $10 shipping for these men's Mike Trout 5s. And Mike Trout's is definitely a baseball cleat brand to look for, especially in men's cleats. I know the Flippin' Sports guy sold some cleats recently that were Mike Trout's also that were kids, and it might be a little harder to get people to spend bigger money on kids cleats. That's what he was, you know, saying, that they didn't sell for as much as he thought they would, but I feel like adult cleats you can definitely do pretty well. The next item that sold was another comic book, sold for $14.99. I have to go back, you guys, and add up everything I've made off this comic book haul and see how much it really has been on this box of comic books. This was from the private pick that I did. This is a Chip and Dale comic book, again from the 1970s. $15, guys. That's awesome. I sold a sit and spin, and it cost $20 to ship, even through UPS. Like, that's ridiculous. So this particular item sold though for $62.80. If you are walking by sit and spins, if you have one of these in your home, if your neighbor has one out in the front yard, grab this thing and list it. They sell for $60, $70, sometimes even more. Sit and spins are definitely a bolo. I took 22 of the comic books that were Richie Rich franchise and lotted them all up together, and they sold for $22. I had that listed a little bit higher. When the buyer made an offer of $22, I thought that's $1 a comic book, and again, a huge stack of comic books that I can get rid of. So she paid $22 plus $5.13 shipping. I found another one that had the cover ripped off of it and included that as well. Let's see. I sold a pair of vintage Lee dead stock. Levi's are super cool, but also vintage Lee are cool. These sold for $20 plus $7.95 shipping. I can usually get between $20 and $30 for vintage Lee or Levi's, and these were dead stock, guys. So I definitely thought those might go for more, but they've been listed for well over a year, probably 18 months in my store. Here's an item that you might be walking right by in your thrift store again. Vintage home interior brass. Now, Lavender Clothesline talked about this a lot over on her channel, so when I started to see this, I thought, man, I should stop and take note of this. These little hummingbirds, and they were like, there's one piece here and one piece here, so there's two separate pieces. Both are about the size of my hand. Sold for $22 plus $5 shipping. I couldn't believe that they went for that much. I can't believe that any vintage brass home interior is selling to anyone, but it is someone's bag and somebody loved it. Another comic book sale. This is Conga number 16, sold via promoted listing, and the buyer did pay shipping on this. The buyer paid, let's see, $3.50 shipping and $18.99 for this vintage 1970s comic book. Conga. Look at the artwork on this. Just look at those little Martians, I think, maybe down there. This King Kong. This is beautiful. So the buyer is over $20 on that one comic book. You've got to start looking looking at comic books. Now, don't lose your mind and spend bukus of money on comic books. Again, I'm pennies into those to try to learn more about comic books, and I think I'm learning what sells, what doesn't, what buyers are looking for. These were out of the death pile, sold for $14.30, free shipping, and they were a pair of Lucky jeans that once I pulled them out and noticed that the style that they were, I just did not think that they were very pretty. I sold them for $14.30 and free shipping, and I look back now and I'm thinking, just because I didn't like them, obviously someone else was gonna like them, but it did influence me to price them very cheaply. But I think that these might have had a stain somewhere on them as well. Now, here's an item that I really underpriced, and some of you may be attacking me in the comments for pricing these Nakona men's Western boots at $38 and $9 shipping, you guys. But they weren't in that great a condition, especially in comparison to some of the other listings. These men's Nakona boots are very, very beautiful, but they were very worn. As you can tell, yeah, you can see all of the leather rubbed there, and I'm trying to clear out this death pile. Boots take up a lot of space, so I was happy to take an offer of $38 plus $9 shipping on those. I'm always more apt to take an offer if there's shipping on top of it as well. If I include shipping, I feel like it's almost never worth taking an offer. So some of the items that I've included free shipping, I just turn off offers altogether, because I feel like when the buyer makes the offer, they're not considering the fact that you have to pay for shipping. I had a buyer the other day offer me on a pair of shoes, and we went back and forth a little bit, and they said, if you'll waive the shipping cost, I'll pay XYZ. And I thought, I can't waive the shipping cost. USPS is not going to allow me to ship this item for free. That's just not how it works. And I think a lot of times the buyers aren't realizing that you're paying their shipping costs. And you know, they tend to think of you as a large company or a corporation, not Rachel shipping things out of her basement. If I mail you something with free shipping, it's only free to you. I have to pay the shipping. So if, again, I'm offering free shipping, I'm less likely to take an offer, just because I'm already eating at least $8 probably of the proceeds just in being able to ship that item to you. So more free shipping on lesser weight items that can go first class. Here's another death pile item. I can't believe how many of these death pile items I have to tell you guys about. This was a little vintage newborn dress, sold for $20, you guys. So it wasn't quite a full circle dress, but it was definitely a vintage dress, probably 80s, really beautiful yellow dress with lace all over it. Vintage kids clothes always does so well for me. They're not making any more of that, right? Here's another death pile sale. So I feel like more of these are death pile sales than not. I know I've skipped over some of them that were not, but you guys have to know that probably 80% of these are. This was a vintage Reebok shirt sold to a buyer in Japan. So they paid eBay's GSP shipping program plus $25 plus $5 shipping. So the buyer is into me at $30 for this vintage single stitch Reebok t-shirt that says, "No thanks, I'll walk." I paid $1 for this during the vintage 140 piece clothing haul pickup from one of my favorite thrift stores. Another item that I listed out of the death pile came from my husband's childhood, were these little 1997 Harley Davidson motorcycles. These are 1/18 scale, and this one sold for $16.99 free shipping. The buyer sent me a message and said, please ensure that you pack this well so that it arrives undamaged, and I take it that they meant the box. So there's no way that you can put a collector's item like this just straight into a poly mailer. I don't know if I want to go back and maybe change and add some shipping costs for this. I was still able to send it first class, so no problem. I'm just gonna have to find some other really lightweight boxes, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more of these in different styles that are for sale. So again, that one sold for $16.99 with free shipping. How about this next sale? I bought vintage crayons, vintage chalk, several vintage items, and these vintage crayons sold for $12.90, you guys. So not only are they vintage, you know, kids crayons, 1985. If you're looking at Crayola, you really need to look for Made in America, and I'll show you where that's at on the back of the package here. You see where that says Biney Smith, 1985 B&S Inc., Easton, Pennsylvania, made in USA. So that's something that you want to look for. And then if you are selling crayons, be sure you show the condition of the crayons. That doesn't mean a buyer's not going to want them broken. Again, these sold for $12.90, and that red is broken. Just be sure that you show that. You know, buyers, again, cannot see and feel the item. Give them the best experience that you can about what it is that they're actually getting, so that there are no surprises. That is why I feel like my buyers say things like, it's even better condition than what I expected, looks even better than in the photos, because I take pictures and post them of the flaws. Here is another men's pair of sunglasses, sold for $14.50. They were a Walmart retail arbitrage pickup. This next item was not a death pile listing, but was, I think, the highest priced item I'm going to be telling you guys about in this haul. So I bought this for $3 at a yard sale, and it sold for $140 and $9 shipping. It was this vintage 1950s FFA jacket. It is corduroy, it is beautiful. It has chain stitching. That would be a keyword, chain stitching, over on the left breast there, the right breast. Am my left and right confused here? The right breast. And there's also a pin. The left has that patch, and then let me show you what the back looks like. Mississippi, Neshoba County, I think, Neshoba Central. I might be butchering that. Sorry if you're from that county. And actually one of my friends, she said that she has family over there, so how ironic. But $140 plus $9 shipping. If you have vintage FFA, or if you have access to that, it is gold over on eBay. Most especially, what goes for even more than these corduroy jackets are the sweetheart jackets. You can get $200 and more for the satin sweetheart jacket. So it'll say like FFA sweetheart across the back. I don't know if I ever find one of those, if I will wear it or if I will sell it, because they are so cool. That is gonna just about wrap things up here, guys. There were more things that sold that were straight out of the death pile, but more than anything, I just had to kind of ask that question out loud and get your feedback. Are the items priced too cheap? Am I accepting too low offers? Or is it just because I've been working so hard that eBay is pushing these items out to people? Is it a reward for my efforts? Comment below, let me know what you think. I thank you guys so much for watching this video. God bless you. Subscribe if you're not already. Like this video. And remember, treat your business like your business.